And we are live!
Woo!
Magical, wondrous, stupendous.
Papa John's.
I need to make it very clear this stream of Pikmin 2 is not sponsored in any way, shape, or form by anyone.
Especially Papa John's.
Oh, God, no. Please don't. I don't want our name
Because
to
when
be
you're here, you're
associated.
family.
No, no. Okay. So we're going to be playing Pikmin 2. Ed is joining me again, fresh off of our playthrough of the original Pikmin.
I am very fresh.
So, Ed, you've experienced Pikmin 1 through my eyes, at least through my hands. Uh, Before we get started, I kind of want you to say what you're looking forward to in Pikmin 2, like things you're anticipating, details of the gameplay or the progression that you feel a sequel should have. Like, what are your impressions coming into this?
My impressions, well, the first one was interesting, to say the least. I enjoyed my time watching. It was a little bit of a brief entry into Pikmin. I didn't expect it to be that fast. I do want more Pikmin, meaning I want armies of Pikmin to rain from the heavens on the land, scorching the red earth. Yeah, and also I'd like to see more colors.
Okay, well, your wish is my command. Let's just get started.
Good.
We're back.
Is it the same intro, or is it updated, or I know it's
It,
the second game, but
it's similar, but it's definitely different. It's got new music. It's a little fanciful, and the things happen. Look, there's a Bulborb just wanders around.
eating and massacring the Pikmin.
Indeed. All right, so we're just gonna go
This
ahead
is
and
genocide.
just jump into it. I do have some save files here, mostly just to get myself back up to speed. But we won't be needing these.
Wait. What if we need one of them to, I don't know, save or come back, or you know what I mean? Like, what
Right.
if we lose a save point?
So I'm gonna keep this day 3 one because spoilers. That's gonna be out of the tutorial segment.
Oh,
So that will be at least a buffer for me in case I make a boo boo like last time and lose a save file. Before we get started, I am going to just check everything, make sure everything's working fine.
testes.
Okay, we should be good. Checking.
Chuck Testa.
That's going to be out of the. Whoa! Hey, getting some feedback there. All right.
Where?
On your
Ryan?
end, yes, I could hear my own voice.
I'm just checking to see if the live stream is streaming live.
It is.
I don't know.
Okay. We're golden. All right. So when we last left off from the original Pikmin, Olimar had crash landed on a strange planet. His ship in pieces, tatters even, and his only way of rebuilding his ship so he can escape before his 30-day supply of life support exhausted itself was through the help of small plant-like creatures called the Pikmin. And through their many gifts, he was able to completely repair his ship and escape the planet. So now we're going to pick up right where that left off. Let's find out what happens when Olimar returns home.
Ooh. I'm gonna call it now. I'm gonna guess there's gonna be another meteor. I'm not sure. What?
Hakatate Transportation Company. Olimar
Oh.
comes from the planet Hakatate.
Oh.
Space, the seventh frontier.
These are the voyages of Jean-Luc Picard.
Looks like a real up and coming company.
Wow, desolate planet. Oh wow, wow. You're fired. Having a space buddy? Oh my god. This is very political. But your
And
ship's been repossessed.
after all that work, it's gone. Eesh.
It's a bottle cap.
Yeah, it's mine. Wow. The economy in Hagatate is real bad.
So wait. What's the new dude's name?
So, we have a co-captain joining us journey, Louis. Olimar and Louis.
I hate it.
And we're gonna miss the meteor this time. Smooth sailing here and out. We're not gonna crash this time.
Valley of Repose. Or Repossess, one of the two. I can't read. Yeah, he's just incompetent. Okay. Alright, well. You know what? At least the ship's in one piece.
It's sturdy.
Oh. Oh no. This entire game's about cleaning this fucking ship. Oh.
So we've barely landed and Louis already dead.
You have 30 days to find Louis.
They seem to be doing fine.
Interesting.
So, of course, first day back on the planet, we gotta relearn how to play. This game did come out 3 years after the original, so a reminder is good for new players.
Ooh.
See, they're doing fine. Alright, so I'm going to skip past a lot of the dialogue in the opening parts of this game because the ship doesn't really have much interesting to say, and it's a lot of ground that was covered in the first game. So the controls overall have not changed in any major way.
Ooh.
So you whistle your Pikmin up, and then you start throwing them all about.
And you the hokey pokey.
And he's dead.
A little purple soul. So are these bugs? Are they animals? Are they plants? See, they're a fusion of fauna and flora.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Interesting.
Okay. So here we're going to get our first new mechanic of this game. So because we have two captains, that means we can have two playable characters.
Oh, but not like two players, just both of them are the same person.
Correct.
Interesting.
So we press start, we can get a map of the area, the Valley of Repose. Pretty sizable area, especially compared to the impact site from the first game. And if you notice, we come up this way. What's this?
It's the red spaceship.
It's our red onion.
Red onion.
Standing upright. Ready to go. Didn't need to be reactivated this time.
It's like it knows.
So, pluck seed with A. Again, not much has changed.
Okay.
So, of course, Olimar's a seasoned pro at dealing with Pikmin, right? But surely Louis, who is also a spacefaring man, should be able to handle these creatures, right?
Nope. No. I feel like Luigi has no skills. There's something wrong with that Pikmin. Its head jiggled for a minute.
They're friends!
Mm.
And so we get to work. First order of business, as always, grow new Pikmin.
More. Make the armies larger.
So, yep, take things back to the onions and make more Pikmin. Business as usual.
Business as usual.
So we've got a good collection of Pikmin, so we can start venturing forth. One thing I'd like to point out, the Pikmin sprouts will come up much faster than in the first game. In the first game, you had to wait like 4 or 5 seconds before you would be able to pluck them. In this game, you only have to wait 1 second. So there's a lot less downtime in Pikmin retrieval. And we have a thing up ahead.
It's a battery. Is it actually brand name Duracell?
Yep. So one of the main things that we are dealing with in this game is we are collecting treasures.
Companies.
And back in 2004, when this game came out, Nintendo reached out to a bunch of different companies to ask for their permission to use their logos and likenesses for a variety of products to make up some of the treasures we will be collecting. The first treasure that we are getting is a Duracell D battery. Now, note, not every treasure is brand named, but it is a significant portion. And the reason why I want to mention this specifically is because recently Nintendo released a remaster of Pikmin 1 and 2 to the Switch. Pikmin 1 is largely unchanged. There's a couple of quality life improvements. You could revisit earlier days if you want to like tighten up your performance from earlier in your playthrough, and just general reconfiguring the controls to better be adapted for the Switch. Similar changes were also made to the Switch version of Pikmin 2, but however, likely because the licensing rights for a lot of these brands that we'll be encountering throughout the gameplay, they no longer have the rights to. So they had to retexture a lot of these treasures to be more generic things. So, like, the battery is still a battery, but it's no longer Duracell. It's like high power voltage something or other. But yeah, so this is what we're going to be doing. Instead of collecting ship parts, we're just going to be collecting a whole bunch of junk. So we're going to need a couple more Pikmin just to be able to pick that sucker up and take it back to the ship. Let's go ahead and see if we can't reunite with Olimar. Okay. There we go. Alright, so the ship's just mostly going to comment that now that we're reunited, we can start playing the game. And so, because we have two captains, one of the main points of this game is that we are going to be able to split up from one another to accomplish a variety of tasks. So, whenever we dismiss Pikmin, they will separate as usual, but it would also dismiss the second captain. So, you could take a group and go and do something else. So, like, let's say I want to take these 10 Pikmin here, have them just start carrying the battery. They're not strong enough, but we'll resolve that later. And then we can take Louie and go somewhere else and do something different. So whereas the first game was very much task-based in as much as that you had to find an expedient way to do a lot of things in sequence, Pikmin 2 is a bit more reliant on unit management and puzzle solving. And so with this, we're going to go ahead and take our remaining Pikmin and have them carry the battery back. If at any time we want to rejoin our captains, we just whistle them just like we would Pikmin. And so now we can get two things done at once.
that's pretty cool.
So,
And so, what's this ship called?
this is the Hockatate ship. It does not have any official name. It is just always referred to as the Hockatate ship.
Hmm. I wish it was more creative.
It's a corporate ship. What do you want? Whee.
I want more. Let's
So just like in the first game, any important collectibles will be taken to the ship to be slurped up. And so let's see what happens when we get our first treasure.
So this entire game is about money, monetary value.
Yep.
Oh, we have to get to a 10,000.
Yep. So we're going to be collecting a variety of treasure with a variety of different amounts that they are going to be worth. And once we get to 10,000, that's it. Game's over.
Game over.
And so with that, that's our first day. It's very short and straight to the point, much in the same way the first day in Pikmin 1 was. And in fact, every single installment of the main line of Pikmin games is going to have a streamlined first day experience.
Okay.
So this is just going to be sort of a recurring trope throughout the franchise. So, nightfall, we retreat to the upper stratosphere with our ship and any onions we have rescued to this point. And we tally totals. Can't stand the planet. It's too dangerous. These monsters are mean. They call me bad names.
They poked fun of my nose. They poked my nose.
We're on our way.
We're on our way.
So a new feature at the end of the day is this game will actually tell you how many Pikmin you've grown, separated by type, as well as how many Pikmin you've lost overall, and how you've lost them.
Wow.
So you can feel extra bad.
You lost this person for depression. They could not stand the weight of life.
So, in the first game, each day would be capped off by Olimar writing an entry in his captain's log. Here, we will be getting mail. Mostly from the president. Just commenting on our progress and just wanting to check on how we're doing and everything. So, one of the key differences between this game and the first game is that there is no time limit to pay off the debt. We can take as long as we want. So the time pressure, the time crunch that you'd be feeling is gone. So you could take the game at your own pace, take it on however you want, and, it's a more relaxed experience. But it is also a very fulfilling experience because compared to the first game, there's a lot of stuff we can do and a lot of stuff to get done to get to that completion point. But with that, we're halfway through with the tutorial, so let's go ahead and jump into day 2. New to this game, we have some lore building stuff. If we take a look, we have something called a Piclopedia. This is basically our bestiary, our monster log of the game. Anytime we would encounter or kill a creature, it gets logged here. It'll tell us how much treasure that's worth if we were to collect it as treasure, how many Pikmin we would have lost to that specific creature throughout our gameplay, how many we've killed. Olimar will give us some scientific notes based on his observations of the creature in question.
Does killing more of it give us more treasure? Or is it the same set number?
It's the same number. So basically, every time we would take back a corpse of a red bulborb, it would give us 2 Pokos, 2 coins.
Could we just farm them until we get to 10,000?
Funnily enough, we can. I'll get to that on day 2. Alternatively, we also have pellet posies, which will produce the pellets to grow nectar. As you can see, these are not hostile creatures, so we don't really get anything beyond that. They can't kill our Pikmin. But another fun feature is we can kind of zoom in and throw carrots to see how vicious these creatures are. Terrifying. But also, in addition to that, we have the treasure hoard. Here, we will see every single piece of treasure that we collect. It tells us how much it's valued at, how many Pikmin it took to carry it back, and Olimar will also have commentary on the various pieces of treasure as well. There is a lot of world building in these 2 menus. So much so that even with what you can anticipate here, it's not even the half of it. Like, there's going to be so much to take a look at in these 2 screens. And every day that you complete, if you find new stuff, collect new stuff, it will update on the map screen accordingly. But let's go ahead and jump into day 2. So day 2 is really where we're going to learn what makes Pikmin 2 different from Pikmin 1. We already know we have a second captain. We can kind of do separate things independent of each other. That's all well and good. But we haven't really gotten anything new to Pikmin, if that makes sense. It's just more of an established mechanic. So, ship's reminding us how we get Pikmin out of the onion. We yell at them to wake up. So, we're just going to take out every single Pikmin that we have and put them to work. Okay.
Ooh. So does it fix the limit problem? Can you have 2,000 Pikmin?
No, you can still only have 100 Pikmin on the surface at any time.
Boo.
Yeah, no, that's always going to be a mainstay of the series. Like, we will never have a Pikmin game that will ever exceed that. And, I mean, there's a variety of reasons why that's the case. You know, because you have things to consider, like, okay, processing over 100 unique units can be taxing on the system. I mean, this is the GameCube we're talking about. It's not like we're dealing with, you know, a modern Xbox.
Mm.
And also, it's also just easier to manage at that level because 100, it is just enough to be able to do a lot of things without it being overwhelming.
Mm.
But as you see with this game, much like the first, like you rarely would ever have a situation where you would want more than 100, because like after a while, your party gets so big that it becomes uncontrollable. That you'll just be stumbling into various hazards and creatures. So, a couple of quality of life updates that are new to this entry. If you're standing nearby an onion or the ship when Pikmin are turning things in, they will automatically rejoin the active captain. So you don't necessarily have to whistle them up or anything like that.
Mm.
Alright, so that's that. We're going to go ahead and pluck these. And there's not much a need to have two captains running around right now. Mostly because like we're still exploring the area. Like there's an entire chunk that is not accessible to us right now because it's blocked off. And we need a lot of Pikmin to clear the way.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, all right. Okay. And here we have our first Bulborb, our first red Bulborb. Ah, they're back.
Destroy him.
And we've already lost Pikmin. So I'm not going to be so stressed about doing a no death run, with one main exception that we'll see a little bit later on today. And we have another treasure here. It's going to take a lot of Pikmin for them to pick it up, so we're just going to go ahead and instead have these guys do something else. We're going to start taking down this gate because it is blocking our path to the rest of the level. And while we're doing that, we're going to come back to Louie.
Ooh.
So this is one of the main reasons why I think Pikmin 2 is a more enjoyable experience, because with having two captains, it makes multitasking that much easier.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something that later entries in the series will really capitalize and expand on. Alright. It's a good collection of Pikmin. So, we've got a good batch of Pikmin with us. We're going to go ahead and have them carry this treasure back.
The Red Army has grown. Cut one head off. Two more shall take its place. Hail, Red Pikmin. Louis.
Alright, so again, they're going to tell us how to play the game again for the second time. And they're off. And so what we can do is we can help speed this process up along, because we do want to make sure we have all these Pikmin when we proceed to the next area. Just waiting. So it feels like we have a good bit of downtime, but again, this is technically a tutorial day, so we're pretty on rails at the moment with what we can do. But hey, we got our second treasure already. That's pretty cool.
Ooh. Oh. Butter scrap. It's valued more than the bottle cap? Wow.
I mean, it's made of more material.
Oh, I guess so.
Alright. So, let's go ahead and join back up with Louie, and we're going to press on to the next section of the level. These guys need to pick up the pace. So, of course, we
Can
are...
you throw Louis?
Can you throw Louis? No.
Yes.
I wish you could. It would be so cool to do in this game. But we have a thing here.
Enemy. Pulling it now. The leader's group of Pikmin, so I mean Olimar?
So, if you're split up from each other, it's just saying that whichever captain would initiate jumping into this hole, whatever Pikmin that they have with them is the group that's going to enter. Any other Pikmin that are on the surface doing whatever else will just automatically be sent back to their onion. And yeah, and then you're going to press on. The Emergence Cave.
Ooh. Olimar can do it. We can do. Why is the nose here? The hell? You're all gonna burn alive.
Nah. Not here, anyway.
No, lava. Yes.
So, this is a cave. This is the main defining feature to distinguish Pikmin 2 from Pikmin 1. Because where Pikmin 1 had you exploring a variety of different surface areas and collecting your parts, because Pikmin 2 is a treasure hunt, we might have to dig underground to find valuable items, such as a bottle cap. And bulb orbs. We got a new Bulborb species here. This dwarf snow Bulborb. There's nothing different between this one and the white Bulborbs except its color.
Wow.
Look at that. Magnificent. It'll quench your thirst. So this is the first cave of the game, obviously. And as such, it is something of a tutorial cave. It's not going to be anything particularly difficult or harrowing. All the same, there are things here to collect, like this squished orange. Or as the game prefers to call it, the citrus lump.
Yes, it's right. A citrus lump.
I mean, it's descriptive.
Uh-huh.
And if you were listening carefully, you would have heard a little winding down sound. This is the game's way to indicate that all the treasures in this current sublevel have been collected. So that means we are free to move on. Much like Dante, the only way forward is down.
Into the circles we go.
See, these caves, they start off light and easy, but they, as we discover more of them, they are going to become more and more brutal. Because you could think of the caves as something as a sort of dungeon crawler experience, but for Pikmin. Because one of the main facets is that as we enter in with whatever Pikmin you happen to have in your party at the time, that is it. Like, there are no onions here that come down with us to repopulate our numbers if something goes horribly awry. So we started with 65 Pikmin. That is all we are going to have until we're done. So, for example, if we were to try and collect these beasts, they would not give us Pikmin. They would just give us money. I will not be doing that in this playthrough, except for maybe a couple of exceptions, which I'll get to when they happen. Mostly because, like, they're not worth anything, and I just prefer my playthroughs just to be treasures only. But to what you were saying earlier, because these creatures do have a monetary value, you could, over and over, enter caves and harvest these beasts, and eventually you will get 10,000 Pokos. It will just take you hours upon hours upon hours of tedious gameplay to do so.
And you're going to see it first here, folks.
Fuck no.
Lines.
I actually want to play the game.
But we could do it.
Hey, that's my house.
Ooh.
I fear that even 100 red Pikmin will be unable to lift it. You can't tell me what to do. Well, maybe you can.
So we need 102 Pikmin. Wait, 100 Pikmin, and then 2 is Olimar and Louis.
Yeah, but they don't do anything. They can't do anything. They're babies.
Not babies, actually. They're grown-ass men.
So, looks like we're going to have to find some way to pick that up later.
We're gonna give our Pikmin strength of 10 Pikmin. Or stronger Pikmin. Oh.
Yeah. But the thing is like our red Pikmin, like they only have the strength of one Pikmin each. So we're gonna have to see what lies ahead. All right, well, let's give them what they want. It killed them.
What the heck? It's a plum penguin. A plum Pikmin. Oh. How?
It's a real purpal. Maybe. So, you wanted more Pikmin colors? You got it. Pikmin 2 introduces a fourth type of Pikmin. Purple Pikmin. They are cool. They are special. And we will see what they do in a little bit because we're going to leave. So, the reason why I'm going to leave instead of getting more purple Pikmin and then, doing what the game wants us to do is largely because I am going to try and maximize the amount of purples that we have because they are very useful and they're very cool and they are my favorite. Man, this ship loves to talk. Like, you thought Olimar was bad?
I mean, yes, I think Olimar is bad, but the ship is also pretty bad, so I will agree.
Yeah. So, once we're outside of the tutorial, excluding a few exceptions that I feel are important to note, I will be skipping any dialogue that the ship decides to interrupt with, and I will just explain it myself. So, every time we complete a cave, it'll give us a little tally. It'll list all the treasures we collected, if we've lost any Pikmin, the total amount of money we've made from that cave. And when we're done, it'll dump us right back at the landing site.
Oh.
And on the surface, no time has passed.
Oh. Really? So like it suspends time in that underground?
Yep.
Wow.
So I'm just taking the opportunity to grab a couple more Pikmin here. And we're just going to go back into the cave. So one thing, now that we have two different types of Pikmin, they do much better at separating from each other whenever you dismiss them. In the previous game, they kind of took a median position between them all, and then that's how they grouped themselves. But in this game, they will actually like separate out to like set points, so it makes it easier to whistle up separate groups of them. And while we're going to do that, we're going to take the opportunity to kind of showcase some of the features of the purple Pikmin. So, yes, these are big boys, and because they're big boys, they are slow boys. They are so slow. Oh my god, look at how slow they are. Jesus Christ.
They really fall behind.
That's true. One key piece of advice I would give to any new player is to flower up your purple Pikmin as soon as you get a chance. They are useful, yes, but not practical otherwise, especially in instances where you need to be speedy, like if you're dealing with particular creatures or you're trying to beat the clock. Because while we're not under a strict time limit of 30 days, we are still trying to beat sunset. But let's go ahead and jump back in here. So fortunately, we can skip a lot of these interstitial cutscenes. Nothing extraordinary happens. It just shows them falling from floor to floor. And because we've already come through here, and none of the there are no treasures left for us to collect, we can kind of just bypass it all and go straight to the next floor. And you don't need any Pikmin with you in order to continue down. Every Pikmin that is currently in the sub-level, regardless of what they're doing, will proceed with you as if nothing's happened.
Nice.
One key thing to note is that at any time, if the cave gets too difficult, we can always press start, and we're given the option to escape the cave, and it will take the two captains and any remaining Pikmin you have with you, and drop anything you've collected, treasures, creatures, whatever, and you'll return to the planet's surface.
Ooh.
In some instances, this may be outright necessary because you've lost all your Pikmin.
And then you're like kind of utterly useless there.
Yes, the captains cannot complete caves on their own, chiefly because they can't carry anything. So we're going to go ahead and go all the way down this way. All the way down. And I'm going to go ahead and start showing off what these guys can do. So we got our 5 little boys. We're going to skirt around this group for now. Mostly as a safety precaution. And we're going to throw one. So these guys are big and heavy. Whenever you throw them, there is like a 1 in 3 chance that they will cause a stun effect for any nearby enemies. Each creature, it has its own value of its likelihood of being stunned, as well as how long its stun will last. So generally speaking, the bigger, more dangerous, aggressive, harder the creature is, the less likely it will be stunned. And if it is stunned, it's going to be for a much shorter duration. But for small things like dwarf bulborbs, like, it's really not much of anything. But also, the purples have a slight, very slight homing attack. Whenever they're being thrown towards an enemy creature, they will kind of do that little pause in the air and then hone in to the enemy to give a nice little slam. So they actually will take out a good deal of damage just from impact. This is in addition to them being stronger than red Pikmin, for example, in dealing normal attacking damage.
So, is it kind of like that one enemy you faced in the first one, where it would kind of slam in the ground and squash your Pikmin? Or like jump into the air and slam to the ground?
Uh, kind of. It's not. I mean, obviously the enemy creatures are bigger than the Pikmin individually.
Yeah.
But it is sort of a similar take on the idea.
Mm-hmm.
And so, before we venture back up, I am looking for something that is on this cave floor. It's supposed to spawn, but it doesn't always spawn in the same place. Maybe it didn't. Maybe it's not going to spawn. Well, that happens sometimes. So I was looking for a honey wisp, which will drop some nectar, so we can start flowering these guys up. But that's just going to have to wait.
Do honey wisps usually populate in the underground?
So these caves will have like a preset batch of enemies that will be, set to program in.
Yeah.
And so the honey wisp is one of them, but sometimes it doesn't work always right. Some things will spawn or will not spawn when they should. It's just a quirk of the programming, and that's just it. That's just what happens.
Yeah.
So there is a bit of a randomness factor when you're dealing with these caves. So another quality of life update is we can now switch between our different Pikmin while we're throwing.
While you're throwing, so you can throw a mix of them, or
Yeah, so like whenever they bunch up like that, it can be very difficult to get a specific Pikmin, especially in the first game. Now, as long as you press and hold the throw button, you can toggle between the different ones that are currently in your party. And so let's go ahead and pick up this heavy piece of shit. A Pikmin with the strength of 10.
oh wow, I was not wrong.
You were not wrong. You were right on the money.
Huh.
So
Honestly, did not know that was going to happen. I just happened to say the words. Wow.
So they're going to go ahead and carry that thing back. And I'm going to walk Olimar all the way down here. Because once we pick up that northern hemisphere, that's going to be it for the cave. There's nothing else for us to get. And so a good tactic that you want to have, especially when we start dealing with more hostile caves, is to have one of the captains ready to go as soon as you're done. We got a treasure. We got a fancy treasure.
Out? Once like one of the captains is next to the exit, it'll let everyone out?
Yep.
Oh. Interesting.
I could see my house from here. So, this is a very special treasure. This is part of the Explorer series of treasures. And basically, these are treasures that are going to benefit us during our gameplay in some form or fashion. At the bottom of every cave we will explore throughout the game, we'll have an explorer treasure. So in this case, it's the spherical atlas. So let's go ahead and see what this thing's going to give us. For some reason, this globe's got a microchip. It's a smart globe, I guess. The sphere chart. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and skip past the rest of this. This is going to unlock a new area for us to explore.
Ooh.
So in the first game, we got access to new areas based on our overall progress with repairing the ship. Here, we will gain access to new areas by collecting plot items, basically. And this is going to be a theme that's going to be a defining trait of progression in the rest of the series overall. But we got what we came for, and we're gonna leave. So there was a reason why I grabbed 5 purple Pikmin, escaped, and then came back to get 10 more. The reason is that those purple flowers will not spawn if your total purple Pikmin count is over a certain point. And basically, I'm just trying to give us a leg up in the rest of the playthrough and do a little bit of farming. Because purple Pikmin are a very limited resource. The only way we can get new ones is by converting other Pikmin in those purple candy pop buds. And we could not complete this cave all in one go like that. I mean, I guess we could have. I could have just skipped that first floor in the first round. But that's not very exciting to watch.
Very true.
And so I opted to do this because as soon as you collect the globe, the day forcibly ends. You don't know me. You don't know how big of a capacity I have to Pikmin. But wait, we don't have a purple onion.
They shall be left behind and eaten. Or do they get inside the ship?
Oh, they jumped into the exhaust for some reason.
So does the purple one come from the underground and follow you? No?
Nope. There is no purple onion. But with that, we're 2 days in and we're almost 10% of the way there.
Wow.
Truly an expedient expedition. Where? Happy Hockatate Savings and Loan. Well, we'll see if we'll be able to bail the president out in due time. But we've discovered a new area. That means we got somewhere else to go.
The Awakening Wood?
The Awakening Wood. Let's just take a peek at our Piclopedia here. Oh, we got a couple of new things here. Very nice, very nice. Couple of new treasures. Good.
Treasures. Well, what are the blue treasures?
So these are just to separate the treasures by group.
Okay. So the red are the green ones the adventure ones and the blue ones the scraps?
Yeah, sure, let's go with that.
Oh, if it is, it is. I didn't know.
Now, it'll become clearer as we start collecting more.
Ooh.
I don't want to give the game away too much at the beginning. We just barely started. Because it's day 3, and this is really when the game starts. Yeah, so any purple Pikmin that we manage to grow during our gameplay, they'll just foist up in the ship. They don't get an onion. I guess the designers didn't feel the need to make onions for them. Which I feel will make sense as we start playing the game more. But we'll get into that in just a moment. So we got a new area. Let's go and take a look. And looking a little familiar. We have a blue onion way up here.
So wait, are these maps the same as the first game?
Yes, this is the first reused area in this game. Awakening Wood is just a rearranged, or not really rearranged, retextured, redone version of the Forest of Hope from the first game. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and start our day off right. We're going to get some reds. Got some bugs that spawn out of the ground there, but they're female shear grubs, so they're not dangerous to us. And we have a honey wisp, which dropped some nectar to flower up our guys. This mechanic is exactly the same as in the first game. They drink nectar, they flower up. Flower Pikmin are always better. So we're going to set these guys to start tearing down this gate. While they're doing that, Louie is going to take out our purples. And we're going to go to town. We're going to go ahead and start squishing some dudes.
Ooh.
So it takes a good amount of reds to kill a big Bulborb.
Mm-hmm.
It takes almost nothing for purples.
Wow.
And one of them can carry it back. Now, this does have a downside. The speed at which Pikmin will carry stuff back is indicated by the number of Pikmin that are carrying them back. And so this was likely a consequence of the way the game was programmed, but I think the designers just decided to roll with it because it makes a lot of sense. If you only have one Pikmin carrying something back, it's going to take fucking ages.
Can you assign more Pikmin to help them out?
Oh, yeah, of course. So you can assign up to, let's see, it takes 10 Pikmin strength to carry it, but you can overassign Pikmin in most cases. Most every case, actually.
Ooh.
But since purples don't have an onion of their own, they will take it back to some other onion.
Any onion.
Truly.
They even take it to the non-onion. They go to the green onion.
Sadly, there is
yellow
no
onion.
green onion.
No, there are green onions. I've seen them before. There's a white onion, there's a yellow onion, and green onions. It's a cooking joke.
Not in this ecology.
Well.
Alright, so here, the ship's just yelling at us that, oh, you reached 100 Pikmin, but wait, there's not 100 Pikmin. There's only 95. What's going on? We got our first treasure of the area. The Sunseed Berry. Tasty.
Hmm.
Alright. And we have a thing here that we're just gonna go ahead and set our Pikmin to start beating the ever-loving shit out of these things.
Holy bombs.
No, but they are incredibly useful tools.
Ooh.
So, earlier I mentioned that remaster of the original Pikmin games for the Switch. One of the quality of life updates that they provided was that whenever you're plucking mini Pikmin, instead of having to mash A like you do in the originals, you just have to hold the A button, and it'll automatically do it for you.
Oh, wow.
This is actually a feature that was originated in Pikmin 3, again, as a sort of quality life update for basic mechanics. So, it's not necessarily a new innovation to the franchise, but an important one nonetheless, especially for people who are experiencing these games for the first time. Because for the first time in history, you could play every single Pikmin game in one place.
This is true.
So these guys are carrying back these little berries. This is going to be our first, another new mechanic introduced in this game.
Ocean.
Mm-hmm. The Ultra Spicy Spray. So, Pikmin can drink up nectar and give themselves that little boost. The captains now have a nectar all their own. Sprays. Spicy sprays. If you apply it to your Pikmin, they will be temporarily granted increased speed and strength. It is truly a wonderful upgrade to the overall gameplay, and it really gives you the opportunity to do a lot of things, because you can issue a spray to your Pikmin as they're going to take over like a tedious obstacle or something of the like, or even just have them deal with creatures faster, because if they are faster, then creatures become less of a threat.
Oh, wow.
And here we have another new enemy. This is the... Yeah. The burrowing... Shearwit? Something like that? I'm blanking on the name. I played this game so many fucking times and I'm blanking on the name. But yeah, he's just basically a big shear grub. He'll burrow out of the ground. He's got a weak spot right in his fucking face. And the reason why you want to have purple Pikmins with you at all time is because they can really trivialize combat. But that's at the downside of having 0 environmental immunities. They are slow, they are vulnerable to just about everything, and the only thing that's got going for them is their immense strength, which is still really good. And then over here we have another new creature. This is the Creeping Chrysanthemum. It is a walking Venus flytrap. It will try to eat your Pikmin. It will fail. So we're just kind of coming up ahead here and clearing the way. Because first time in a new area, as always, we gotta clear the path and get to other explorable areas. And while we're doing that, I'm just committing a lot of reds to harvesting these sprays, because they are very useful. They are very good. They are good to have in good numbers, because they give you a lot of flexibility and options, especially for dealing with caves. So, with that, we're going to do another round of gathering up some sprays. Each of these plants will produce 5 berries, and you need 10 berries to make one spray. And these plants will also respawn berries every 30 seconds. And the way that works is as soon as you start dealing damage to one of these plants, it'll start that timer, and it will repopulate up to 5 berries on that plant once that 30-second timer has finished. Alright. And that's cleared the way to this. We're just going to skip this. So every time you encounter a new cave, the ship's got something to say about it. Usually opining about its supposed difficulty. But that's not something I'm necessarily going to worry about. Because I played this game a million times, and I already know what's waiting for me down there. Alright. And so they're going to go ahead and take these berries back, which should give me 3 total sprays. I don't particularly need them right now, but I do want to beat the clock because there's more stuff I want to get done after I'm finished with this cave. Okay. Just a quick check, make sure, yep, they all returned. So whenever we enter a cave, any Pikmin that are on the surface will be safe. They'll just be returned to their respective onions or the ship in the case of purples. And we're going to go ahead and proceed with our second cave, the White Flower Garden. So up at the top, under the title of the cave, it will list any hazards that you may encounter in the cave. And for example, this one will have fire hazards, and on the far right, poison. Well, our Pikmin are vulnerable to poison, but reds are immune to fire. So I think we're just going to have to take our shot and go for it. So here we have another cave, and this is going to be our second cave archetype that we're going to encounter. In the Emergence Cave, it was a very sort of naturalized cave. It was all interior, all stone and dirt. Here we have an industrial set, and this is going to be the only cave type in the game that's going to have bottomless pits, which is going to be a sort of hazard all of its own. And so you need to be careful with how you're throwing your Pikmin, because it can be very easy for you to throw them off the ledge to their death. So if you're trying a no-death run, a good tactic that you can do in caves is just kind of go around the cave first and just kill any hostile creatures with the captains. Just beat the ever-loving shit out of everything that comes your way. It is slow, it is tedious, but it is safe. And the reason why I'm doing this is because these sheer grubs tend to be very dangerous to your Pikmin. And while I'm not necessarily worried about my reds, because we can very easily recover those numbers if we lose any, we do want to be careful with losing purples, because they are very hard to come by. And I don't want to have to come back to these caves to grow more. But with that, we're out of hostile territory, and we can safely come through with our Pikmin. and grab the treasure. And we got some shoe polish here. Kiwi brand. And it's really an eclectic mix of brands and logos that they've got for this game. Because, yeah, while we're seeing some big stuff like Duracell and 7-Up and whatnot, like, Kiwi isn't necessarily a brand that most children would know back in 2004. I didn't know what the fuck it was. That wind down means we've collected all the treasures. And we can proceed. So, like I said, one of the safe things to do is to just go around with the captains and just beat all the enemy creatures into submission. But that's very tedious, and I don't particularly feel like doing that. So instead, another option you could do is just pummel everything to death with purples. So these fiery blowhogs, which are returning from the first game, will breathe fire out of their snouts, which is very bad if they're not red Pikmin. But if you can throw enough purples on them, they will effectively stun lock them and preventing them from being able to spray. Therefore making them a non-threat. But even still, like with most hazards, if a Pikmin falls prey to something that it's not immune to, if you can whistle them fast enough, you will be able to rescue them without any harm. So putting more purple Pikmin on these treasures will make them go by faster, but as purple Pikmin are still the slowest Pikmin type, it's still going to be a bit of a tedious process. But off in the distance here, you can see there's another fiery blowhog kind of wandering around. But fortunately, the treasures spawned in the location that were far enough away from the enemies to where, if you can, you don't necessarily have to kill them. You'll just let them walk on past, collect the treasures without any fuss. And here we have another brand, Dr. Pepper. Love it. Love to see it. Hope they can throw a sponsorship my way. Drought Ender indeed. And the wind down means we're done. Continue forth. And we have something new down here. Something familiar, yet new.
Ooh. Those are white.
Indeed. Now you're a smart fellow, so I think you can foresee what's about to happen. But
the purple and the white are going to attack each other. And through chests all over.
You're a smart boy. So, yes, obviously these are going to produce white Pikmin. And we never want to use purple Pikmin to convert because it's a waste of a valuable resource. And so whenever you can, use one of the more common types, red, blues, or yellows, to convert. So what I am curious as to what you think white Pikmin are going to do. I mean, we know that reds are immune to fire and are a little bit stronger than the common Pikmin types. Blues can go in the water. Yellows are thrown higher. Purples are big and strong at the sacrifice of the speed. What do you think white is going to do? What's going to set them apart?
I'm thinking either they can fly or they can go fast.
Good. Good insights. Let's see if you're right.
Oh, what the hell? It's albino. It puffed out red. What is that red stuff? It puffed out. Ah. Unseemly red. Wow.
All right. So you were correct on one count. The white Pikmin, as the game indicated, are fast. They are the fastest Pikmin type in existence. So, one thing I would like to kind of showcase here, real quick, before we proceed with the rest of the cave, is, let's see if I can get this honey wisp. Yes. Okay. So we got some flowers. Let's do one of you.
Oh, we got sunflowers.
There we go. One of you. One of you. Purple. A red flower and a white flower. So here we have a variety of different Pikmin. Red, purple, and white. One each with a leaf and a flower. And I'm just going to run a little bit, just so we can get a real gauge of how fast these guys are.
White one's kind of lagging behind as well.
Kind of. A lot of that's quirk of geometry, but as we can see, they are pulling ahead. So the white ones are pretty much right at Olimar's hip. The red's isn't doing too bad themselves, comparatively. But as you can see,
Purple is slow.
Purple is slow.
Slow.
The white one will slowly start to pick up on the gap, assuming it doesn't stumble or get caught on geometry. The purple flower barely keeps up with regular leaf types of any kind. And of course, the purple leaf is super slow, super behind. And so it's hard to tell that the difference between a flowered white Pikmin and a flowered red, for example, but it is faster. It is noticeably faster. And there is something that we will be able to get later on in the game that will better showcase this difference, because it is staggering. But that's not all they can do.
They can see through the dirt.
Yep. The white Pikmin have a sort of X-ray vision, so they can see things that are completely buried. And as you can also see, there is a large group of white Pikmin carrying this treasure bag, and it is moving at a very noticeable clip.
A noticeable what?
A noticeable clip. So they're moving very fast, much faster than they would if, let's say, only reds or even reds mixed with purples would be. So if you need something to get back to the ship in a hurry, use whites.
Okay.
I'll be sure to showcase that the first chance I get, because it is a very, very useful thing to have. Now, I wouldn't say we need whites in any sort of great capacity,
Mhm.
but you do want to make sure that you grow them whenever you get the chance. Much in the same way as purples. Case in point, because it's like you don't know whenever you're going to stumble across something that's buried, and they're the only ways that they can really detect it. And even if you know there's something there, like you still need them to dig it up. But we're gonna keep going. A lot of these early game caves aren't going to be terribly difficult, nor particularly long. But here, we have some geysers that are pumping out poisonous gas. And just to showcase how bad that is, if you throw any Pikmin on them, they will start choking. Of course, with one exception.
Are they attacking the smoke?
They're attacking this little pump that's producing that gas. So poison is a new hazard to this game, and white Pikmin, as if on cue, are immune to poison. So whenever you're exploring caves, the treasures that you'll be able to find on each level, as well as the various creatures, are all predetermined. In as much as that, whenever you get a cave, the game will say there needs to be 3 bulb in here, and needs to have these specific treasures in there at somewhere. For example, this tube of chapstick is always going to be on the 4th sublevel of the White Flower Garden.
Ooh.
However, the sublevels themselves, in most cases, are actually randomly generated. They're procedurally generated, in fact, because the game is programmed to say, like, hey, there needs to be X amount of corridors, X amount of hallways. It needs to have such and such type of room in there. It needs to have various nooks and dead ends, and then it also tells them, like, these units need to spawn in this area, treasures have to spawn in this kind of area, so on and so forth. These geysers all have to spawn at these different hallways and choke points. So whenever you're exploring these caves, while yes, you'll generally know what to expect, the layout in most cases will always be different. This is going to have some benefit to you, because while this cave, for example, spawns with 4 of these poison geysers, sometimes you may get a layout where you don't even have to deal with them. Like, if you walk straight from the ship here towards this chapstick, there's a chance that this geyser may not have been there, and you could have just walked straight back to it and collected it. Woo, look at him go! So fast. So speedy. Let's see what happens if we put more on them. Good God.
Oh God.
Lip balm.
The balm of lips.
So, much like purples, whites are a precious commodity. avoid any circumstance of losing them if you can, because they are hard to recover. So, like I said before, I'm not particularly concerned with doing a perfect no-death run, with a couple exceptions, and that is the purple and white Pikmin. If I am going to do everything I can in my power to make sure I lose 0 purples and 0 whites during this gameplay.
Is that even feasible? Is that a doable goal, or
Oh
are
yeah,
we just...
it is very doable, and in fact, I would say that with the tools at your disposal, it is far easier to do a no death run in this game compared to the first. It's a bit more forgiving in that aspect, but also, if you're pressed to do so, there is something you can do. So if you've noticed, it's been saving your progress in between floors, and so if at any point you are playing your game and it's just like you lose a lot of Pikmin or something, or you end up getting saddled with a cave layout that you just cannot complete, which can happen. You can, and in some instances, be given a cave layout that is unfinishable. Then what you could do is you could simply reset your system and pick up where you left off, roll the dice on a new layout. Like you'll restart with the same group of Pikmin that you came in with. It's a little scummy, but hey, you can do it. There's nothing preventing you from not doing it. Because the save is an automatic feature, like you can't stop the game. So if something goes bad and you decide to continue on and the game saves, you can no longer undo that mistake. It is permanent. It is written into the record. So it's the final floor. I think we've all played enough video games to know what this means.
Yeah, that is the epic grounds in which we do a lot of grinding. Then we fields of flowers, you get tons of Pikmin. And nothing else. Everything's gonna be hunky-dory. Nothing's bad's gonna happen over here.
Alright, let's go and pull aggro.
Why is Sephiroth music coming on?
It's funny you mentioned that, because Pikmin 2 actually has boss music. And we also have our first returning boss creature, the Burrowing Snagret.
It sounds like Pokemon music.
Kind of. It's of a similar era.
Oh, you have buddies. Never mind. I'm not gonna fight you. They'll only attack you if you have less than 10 buddies.
No, so he's just going to wait underground until we get too close. So the Burrowing Snagret, his behavior is largely unchanged in this game from the first. He will poke his head out of the ground, peck at a couple of Pikmin, and then eat them. But there's also that 1 in 3 chance that he will get stuck in the ground partway through, which is giving you an ample opportunity to be able to swarm him and deal a lot of damage, because his weakest spot is on his head, not on the body.
Ooh.
So when we faced him last time, first of all, he was in a group of 3, which is a dick move. But also, we lost a good amount of Pikmin trying to deal with that. I mean, granted, during our playthrough, had some pretty bad luck with the RNG giving us that 1 in 3 window. But here we have some new tools. We have some purple Pikmin, and we also have our spicy spray. So let's go ahead and see what happens if we buff these guys up.
Oh no. They're starting to learn.
These guys are fast. And we must be faster.
Where? Ooh!
Look at that. Look at that.
Wow.
Oh my god. Almost
That's,
a perfect one cycle.
that's disgusting.
Dude, I gotta tell you, the purples do a lot to break this game. Look at that. And he's down! No casualties! Alright, and he gives us a smelly glove.
Wow. That's an artifact right there. It's a treasure. Why is it clad?
Oh, fashion?
These people do not know what fashion is. Our enemy is beheaded.
Okay.
Good.
So they'll go ahead and start carrying that thing back.
Oh, whoops.
And there's some eggs here. And if you break an egg, you get to make an omelet.
Omelet.
Nah. It gives us sprays. Sweet, precious, glorious sprays. Whenever you encounter one of these eggs, it will give you 1 to 2 sprays. Most times.
Ooh. No, well, it's sprays, but I mean, is that the same thing as the nectar?
Yes. Because there's also a small chance that it will drop a spicy spray now that we've discovered it. I don't know the exact ratio off the top of my head of what it's supposed to do, but I'm pretty sure it's a 1 in 3 chance across for spicy sprays compared to nectar.
Mm-hmm. Oh wow! So the spicy spray is pretty broken.
It's not necessarily broken. It's very useful. It is rare though. Like while you can like harvest the berries and all that stuff to build up those numbers, like even doing that for like 5 minutes, we only got 3 sprays out of it. And we've already used 1. Granted, it was for demonstration, but we still used it. But either way, that is our first, quote, real cave of the game done. And this is just going to be the general flow of it all. We're going to go down to some set number of floors, and at the bottom is going to be a boss fight of some sort and an important treasure. The treasure that we got is the 5-man knapsack. This lets you take a nap.
It lets you take a nap.
Yep.
And Louis like, "Oh my God, he died! No! Oh, sacrifice."
So yeah.
They're about to feed you to their gods.
As far as like upgrades go, it's the least useful, but it is good for like some exploits because with the way Pikmin pathfinding works, it's the exact same as in the first game. You can kind of position yourself against certain walls and like lay down, and then the Pikmin will attempt to carry you, and then they'll kind of like briefly bound out of bounds for a little bit, which will allow you to get the captain like up to the like upper surrounding wall of the level. So there's a number of applications for it, but like practically, it's worthless. Absolutely worthless.
Absolutely worthless.
Alright, so we are going to continue our day. We got little under half the day remaining. We got a whole batch of Pikmin here. let's go ahead and get to work. So I am going to take a group of white Pikmin. And we're going to take them here because they need to take down this gate that is covered in poison. And while they're doing that, we're going to go ahead and have you guys start farming berries again. And we're going to come back with Olimar. Grab these purples, and we're just going to hang out nearby. Wait for those white Pikmin to finish tearing down that gate. Alright, so let's see. 45 free.
So, to make sure all the Pikmin are, at the end of the day, at the base camp, do you have to make sure both Olimar and Louis are at the base camp as well?
No. So, like, in this sort of perimeter circle, any Pikmin that are here, whether they're under the onion, under the ship, or just kind of idling nearby, they'll be perfectly fine. And any Pikmin that are in either captain's group will also be fine.
But stray Pikmin are on their own as well.
Correct.
Ooh.
Alright, and let's go ahead and take all of these. We're going to go ahead and let those guys idle for a second. Wait for them to finish this gate. It should be done right about now. There it goes. And obscured by the gate were these poison geysers, which they gotta take out. Kill this guy. And he's out of there. And then we are going to find this other half of the globe.
Ooh. The world.
Okay. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and power these guys up. Because we want them to take this thing back fast. Oh, this is going to be tight. Yes, game, I know what happens at the end of day. Ooh, Spectralids. So if we throw a Pikmin up at these guys, they'll drop a piece of nectar.
Ooh.
Come on. So of course, the spicy spray does wear off after a brief period of time. So if you need,
Let's go faster. Let's go faster.
All right. Now, I don't know if I'm going to have the kind of time I want. to do what I need to do, and it's going to be tight. Damn it. I don't think I was fast enough. Damn it! Fuck! Ah.
What happened?
No, I tried to get to that other cave, and I just barely ran out of time. I needed one more second. All still pretty good, productive day. I'll just have to come back and take care of that some other time.
The day has ended. The night has come. The stars populate the world.
So yeah, it's not the worst thing in the world.
What are purple Pikmin immune to?
Nothing.
Oh.
You can consider them a normal type. But the thing is like they're super strong and they have that stun ability. So if anything, they're the best suited for combat.
Mm-hmm.
President commenting on our abilities.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of 50-50 on whether or not he's going to have something interesting to say. But with this, we did unlock a new area, which we do want to go ahead and explore.
What about the Piclopedia? Or the treasures?
We could take a look. Got a number of new discoveries here, including our first boss.
So is it just like a pelican snake?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Couple of new treasures here. Now, for the sake of progression, I am going to go ahead and return to the Awakening Wood because I do actually need to get to that second cave before I can make any further progress.
Any particular reason?
My OCD. No. It's mostly just because it's going to give us a leg up because we can get some more purple Pikmin in there.
Mental health is no joke, kids. It's no joke. If you need to scratch the itch, scratch the itch. See therapy if you need it.
So, fortunately, we don't need to go terribly out of our way for anything in there. So, we're going to go ahead and take out a batch of these. All of our purples.
Ooh.
And we're going to go ahead and pad our numbers with red.
So wait, can you only take 95 out?
Yes, because according to the map, there are 5 Pikmin idling somewhere that we cannot access at this moment.
And they didn't get eaten?
No, they're perfectly fine.
I thought they would get eaten if we didn't take them with us.
The plot hasn't said that they're vulnerable.
Huh. Interesting.
So this is what we were going to try and rush for last time. But just came up short. So what we're going to do is we're going to go and explore this cave, and then we're going to take the opportunity to farm some more sprays for the remainder of the day. This was not in my playthrough plan for this run. Yes, I do have a plan. I have a strategy in which I am following through. It's not based off of any sort of like speedrunning tactics or anything like that because I don't really know most of those strategies. But it is generally good to have a sort of plan for how you're going to tackle the various challenges. Because as we have come to learn, the philosophy driving the design of Pikmin across the entire franchise is Dandori, which
Who?
is Dandori, which is Japanese for the concept of like maximum organizational arrangement. Basically, it's all about like setting a plan to achieve as much possible with as little effort. And so, of course, I have a game plan for this game because there's really a lot for you to do and collect, especially when it comes to things like planning your strategy for dealing with caves and all that. And so, part of that is dependent on me having explored these first two caves in the Awakening Wood.
See, I like the phrase "work smarter, not harder." I feel like that one can also apply. Hey, look, it is a D-pad
Very good.
to a GameCube controller, I imagine, or an N64 controller, or whichever one.
It's actually for the
A
original
NES
NES.
controller? Ah, NES controller, yeah. That's interesting.
The Stone of Glory. All right. So these guys aren't lethal, so we can ignore them. Fun fact about proceeding on to the next cave: if your Pikmin are in peril, either through a hazard or in the maws of a creature, if you jump into the next cave, they'll be perfectly fine. Because Pikmin are only dead when the animation completes.
You're only dead if the doctor says you're confirmed dead. Otherwise, you're, mostly dead.
And here we have some more purple flowers.
There's only one thing to do if they're dead. Do you know what that one thing is?
No. Elucidate me.
Go through their pockets for loose change. Ah, Billy Crystal. You get the reference. You understood the reference, right?
Yes, I've seen The Princess Bride.
You know what the movie's called? Ooh. So you know movies, I hope. I would think. We've been friends for about a decade and a half. More at this point.
Okay.
Jesus, how long has it been? Almost a decade and a half. No. 17 years? Is that about right? 17 years?
Just about.
Yeah, oh 06.
Oh, don't tell everyone our
Before-
business.
Oh no, it was oh 07. Oh yeah, all 131 subscribers. You guys get this little nugget of background knowledge. Fast forward 5 years. I heard you guys knew each other for like 17 years. And that was in 2023. So, Romp Air lore, you guys all know each other.
Well,
Very
yeah, of course
good.
we know each other. We're doing this freaking thing together.
Yeah. You and I. Yeah. So I need to do some much needed self care. Self care is very important to mental health.
So, so we're just going along our business. We're gonna pick up this mahjong tile along the way, and so
Mahjong?
yeah,
Where? I'll see it.
yeah, you'll see it in a second.
Oh. You know, there are many different rules to Mahjong.
Oh
Like the
yeah,
actual like multiplayer, like where you would play with other people, and that's the solo one where you're just matching tiles.
yeah.
Is that still called Mahjong? Is that the same game, or is that like an Americanized version of the game?
Uh, I mean, it's still mahjong because mahjong is really just the tile set that you have. But yeah, like you said, there's a variety of rules. I mean, it's no different than like getting a pack of cards. There's all kinds of games you can play with it.
True. True. It's like, or I can. So I would think there's a set rules for poker and things like that, but Uno, everyone has different house rules for Uno. You know, so I think that one's a little more accessible. But I understand Mahjong has some pretty intense, interesting rules.
I mean, yeah, but it's. I mean, it all just depends on what you want to do. So one thing I want to point out. So in the first game, these little fire geysers, they were just part of the environment, and you just kind of had to time your way around them. Here in this
Mm.
game, they're a destructible hazard in the same way that those poison
Ooh.
geysers were.
Yeah.
So you set your red Pikmin or any Pikmin really, if you can time it right, to destroy it, and then they will be rendered inert.
So those little geysers are now like little dispensers, or like they're little mechanical, motorized. So does that mean someone created those things and are making them produce those environmental hazards? Is there an ultimate like evil behind the construction of this land?
I don't know.
See, I feel like you're dodging the question because of spoilers, and I'm right. Is that an that's a Nintendo thing?
It's a Famicom disc from the Famicom Disk System,
Hmm.
only in
How did they get
Japan.
Nintendo to How did they get Nintendo to sign off on this? Wow.
I
All
don't
these
know.
companies,
Had to pull a lot of strings, I guess.
right? And they had to talk to the guy next door, I guess. They went one office over. Do with the
I mean, it's really just amazing they managed to pull this off.
Yeah. I bet you they had to create their own font. They probably had their own typographer make their like, specialized font for Pikmin.
Oh, probably.
That's a whole art in itself. I took a class, hated it, but I learned a lot.
Okay. So while the separation in this game is better, it's not perfect.
Oh, it's overrated.
Uh,
In what regard are you saying it's not perfect? Like separating the Pikmin or separating
yeah,
the?
because like if you have a sufficiently large group, like there's still be a chance that they kind of bunch up together,
Ah,
and because the whistle is not the most precise thing in the world, it can be annoying, but I mean it is still leagues beyond better than what it was.
oh really?
Yeah. Always flower up your purples. First chance you get. We got a sleepy guy over there.
Beautiful.
That's the plan.
Seek and destroy.
So generally, what you want to make sure that you attack these guys from the back.
Mhm.
But with the way the enemies spawn in caves, you may not have a choice. And in fact, there are some instances where they will specifically spawn right in front of you.
Oh wow. So was that an optional enemy? Like, could that piece of equipment not have been found if you didn't destroy the enemy?
Nope. There are going to be some instances where creatures will have treasures inside of them, and you will have to defeat those creatures to get them. That is a
So is it just
programmed spawn.
is it just like a better rule of thumb just to destroy all creatures?
Generally, yes. Mostly because you can't really, at least on your first playthrough, you won't really have a good idea of how many treasures are going to be around. And like, while you can listen for like the wind down sound effect when you've collected everything, it is an easy thing to miss. And so it's generally good practice. Now, of course, you can just assume that the bigger creatures like Bulborbs may have something in them. Uh, but you know, I've played this game a number of times. I know what's supposed to be where.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, it's part of the discovery element of it all. Here we've secured a Game and Watch.
Game and Watch.
Yeah, to watch your games on.
Those are supposed to be extinct. Mm-hmm.
Nintendo playing card.
Ooh.
Oh, I thought
That has
this was a
That is
nice.
the letter what? N? Or
Yeah,
for Nintendo, I guess? Oh,
yeah,
nice.
yeah. It's a nice reference to their origins as a playing card company.
Hmm.
Though personally, I kind of wish it was a Hanafuda card because that's really what they were making back in 1898.
Ooh, 1898.
Yeah, Nintendo's over 100 years old.
Man, they old. Jeez.
All right, let's play boss roulette. What are we gonna get?
Uh, a big bulborb.
You know, it's weird how good you are at this.
Oh, shit. That's huge. Jesus. Uh, didn't expect it to be that big. Hmm. Why? Oh, just for separation's sake?
Yep, and to keep these guys safe. You just want to tuck those behind the geyser there.
Oh, so
And
you only use purples.
I like using purples because it keeps them safe.
Hmm.
And we just need one to pull aggro. So this ugly thing,
This is a
it's the Empress Bulblacks. The Emperor Bulblacks was, of course, the final boss in the first game. This is the female variant of the species.
He's back for revenge.
And so, of course, she's got this big old fucking carapace. Because, like most queens of various insectoid species, they will swell up in size to birth some babies. Although this one seems to be more or less dormant at the moment.
Hmm.
So, of course, we could have our Pikmin attack the sides, but its vulnerable place really is its face.
Okay.
And there's also a very important reason why you do not want to attack it at its sides.
I guess it maybe excretes something or it rolls around. I think there were holes in the side of it, unless those were like arms. Or, oh, it thrashes around. Oh, it rolls around. I am so good at this game.
Yep, so it'll thrash around and it will throw Pikmin towards its sides, and then after a certain point, it will get aggravated and do this rolling attack.
Mm-hmm.
So it's always important that you kind of pelt it a little bit and then whistle them away. Just that way you can make sure that they're clear before it starts rolling.
I see. Hmm.
And so, yes, you could attack this with other Pikmin types, but the thing is you want to avoid using large groups because they become harder to control. And since purples deal more damage, it's just easier to deal with.
Hmm.
Also, important thing to note that any of these boss encounters, in many cases, they will be immune to being stunned.
I'd imagine so. What is that? A Geiger counter? No.
No, the Geiger counters from the last game.
Oh, is it really? I had no idea.
So let's go ahead and pick this thing up at the protest of the ship. I'm just going to push its corpse out of the way.
Not its corpse.
It's a love tester.
Is that an actual thing?
Yes, this is one of the products that Nintendo was making before they got into video games.
A love tester?
Yeah. It just measures the electrical currents that human beings carry, and so like two people would touch either end, and then it'll kind of shoot up. It's a novelty, but still an important part of Nintendo history.
Hmm.
It's on the steps to get us to where we are today. So the ship's gonna opine about all this stuff, but basically, collecting this will give us our most important upgrade. The treasure gauge.
Ooh.
Now, whenever we are, it will set off pings of treasure that could be found in the area. So anytime you're in a sublevel or even on this planet's surface, if there's treasure to be found, it will tell you. Once all the treasure's been collected, it will turn off, and then it'll be like this little gray icon here at the bottom of the screen. So let's go ahead and see what happens when it's active.
Oh.
So after that cave done, and so like I said, we're just gonna do some harvesting for the rest of the day. If only so that way it can kind of give us a leg up on the rest of the playthrough, as well as kind of make up for some lost time. So first thing I am going to do is fiends. Going to take these guys. Have them start tearing these down. So while there's no berries on them, they will just kind of like keep cycling up and down the stalk like that, and then as soon as they respawn, they'll start digging in. All right, and then we're gonna go ahead and swap some of you guys out. And we're gonna come all the way over here. So our treasure gauge is going off, which is telling us that there's a treasure nearby. Ooh, come back here. Sweet nectar. So, since we've discovered the spicy berries to give us the spray, anytime there's a chance that nectar can pop out, you can also collect spray, and here the game's just telling us this because it's the first time we've encountered the mechanic.
Okay.
And so, pretty much just like Pikmin, you'll rock up to it and guzzle it down like the greedy pig you are.
Jeez. Louis, King Louis. We'll call him King Louis from now on.
Alright. So there's something buried in the ground up here. Our white Pikmin are fast at work digging it up. Whenever they're digging something, as soon as it starts to peek up above the surface, then any other Pikmin will be able to assist in digging it up.
Oh, so it's not before.
Right. Alright. And they're gonna just go ahead and take this thing back.
What? It's like a black garlic. That's an onion?
It's a pilgrim bulb.
What in actuality is that, though? Like, what kind of root?
Oh, I forget what it's supposed to be.
So it looks like you're 30% of the way done.
Yeah.
With the entire game.
Yep.
Jeez. Look at all these lackluster Pikmin just standing around loitering. What's all this then?
So we're just gonna go ahead and take the opportunity to clear the pathway for us for when we eventually come back to this area. But at this point, we've achieved pretty much everything that we're going to be able to.
These are more of those plants with the berries. Berries.
Yep,
those respawn? Those berries respawn infinitely?
Yep. Once you start plucking them, they will start a countdown of 30 seconds to recover their berries.
Sounds good.
And this is pretty much what we're going to be doing for the rest of the day.
What was that green? What was that? Was that water?
Yeah, this is water. So while these guys are working, might as well go ahead and also grow up some more Pikmin.
Olimar doing work? I don't believe it.
He does what he can.
Not much. Is there any way to beat this game without the Pikmin?
Nope.
That
because you
doesn't.
can't collect anything without them. So
Hmm.
it's just part of the deal.
Is there a pacifist run?
As in, like, being able to beat the game without killing any creatures.
Yes.
In theory, yeah, you could do it. I don't
Even the
see.
bosses?
Yeah, I mean, granted, the bosses will have some of the most valuable treasure, but I think mathematically, out of every area that you would be able to
Hmm.
access without killing something, you should, you could be able to do it. It would be very, very hard because the game's not designed to accommodate something like that, but I think it could be done.
Hmm.
At least, to clear the debt. I mean, you'd really have to go out of your way for something, and you might need to use a couple of exploits.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think it is doable. And they're done. So let's go ahead and take a look at what's up here. Because there's a blue onion over here.
What?
The blue onion.
Oh. Those onions are attacking that poor tadpole. They're really shit at it.
So they're just behind this gate. Let's go ahead and get them. Ow. Oh. So
We
this
need
game.
yellow Pikmin.
Yep. So this game is introducing yet another new hazard, electricity.
Oh.
So, and your instincts are correct. You need yellow Pikmin because yellow Pikmin gain a new immunity in this version, that one that they will carry through the rest of the series, an immunity to electricity. And it will be something of a recurring theme in this particular entry, in that it makes the yellows the most important Pikmin type in the entire game.
From
Because,
last to first.
uh-huh. Because unlike the other hazards, which give you an opportunity uh, to
Avoid
save your
them.
Pikmin,
Mm.
electricity is instant kill.
Ooh. So bueno. No bueno at all.
Okay. All right, Louis, you and a couple of these guys are going to come with me.
Mm.
So up here we have something of a little puzzle. It's a simple seesaw.
Oh.
Treasure up here. And also, more berries. Hey, you guys need to get to work. There we go. And that's good enough for now. Oh, look at these guys. They're so hard at work. off the ledge. There we go. So we're going to go ahead and take these guys and get them to start on this berry stem. Okay, those are good. And these berries are different.
But I guess, is it sweet? Oh, bitter.
Now, these berries are probably the most valuable resource in the game. So much so that you could argue they're game breaking.
Oh.
But we'll need to.
Do they like increase defense or something?
Not quite. They do make fights easier, though.
Invincible frames?
No, we'll have to use them later during an encounter, but for now, we're just going to go ahead and farm these up.
Oh.
So we collect 10 berries. They're going to give us some ultra bitter spray. And now that we have discovered the spray, anytime there would be a potential nectar drop, there will also be a chance for a bitter spray to drop. Okay. So I don't think we're going to have enough time to get any more complete bitter spray. I might be able to have enough time for spicy. Maybe? Nope. Won't have enough time for either. But hey, we got 7 spicy sprays and at least 1 bitter, so that is better than nothing.
Ooh. It's better than nothing. I'll be home.
And so we're just going to wait for the clock to wind down.
To your positions. To your positions. And he's coming home. No. This is disgusting shit. Horrible.
Yeah, I mean, they could use a fresh coat of paint. A very good day, all things considered. Perennial manager. Cool, thanks. More work for less pay. Alright, so we're going to take one final look at our Piclopedia. The Flint Beetle. Love to see him. Always has a bunch of goodies. Something I've always found interesting about the Piclopedia is it will actually, like, chronicle collecting, like, the various fauna you can encounter. It's like these glow caps, the horsetails, the various flowers. Like, because these aren't enemy creatures, these aren't hostile to you in any sort of way. But if you wander past them, here you go. They merit an entry.
They merit notation.
Here we have our second boss encounter, the Empress Bowblax. She's very sleepy. So, in most cases, whenever you throw these carrots, it's supposed to make them active. But because the Empress Bowblax will only awaken when it's being attacked, it'll just kind of stay in this idling position. And we got a bunch of new treasures. We got our two halves of the globe, the Protector, which is our treasure gauge, and our 5-man knapsack, all part of the Explorer series. So we're finding all kinds of useful goodies.
Ooh.
But with that, that's a pretty good stopping point for tonight. So when we return on our next stream, we will begin exploring the third area of the game, the Perplexing Pool.
Day 5 has arisen.
Alright, well, this is us signing out. Bye.
Good